and get my thoughts together, say what I want to say. I'm gonna say it like this: the Democratic Party, and particularly the radical far left faction that it has increasingly chosen to accommodate, rather than marginalize, it's fostered a political culture. Pardon this North Dakota wind in the background, but it's created a political culture in which hostility, death, and violence have become disturbingly normalized. This is what you Democrats are down with. Now, this trajectory, it begins with the most defenseless among us. And I'm talking about unborn children, all right? Whose deliberate termination is not treated as, sometimes a tragic necessity in very exceptional circumstances, and I don't even really necessarily believe in it then, but not just that. Now it's increasingly advanced as like a fundamental and even celebrated right. Now, once a society begins redefining the intentional taking of innocent human life as an expression of liberty, then it shouldn't be surprised when its moral boundaries begin to erode in other places and elsewhere in society. All right. Now, this pattern doesn't end there. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Because increasingly, political violence against ideological opponents is excused, rationalized, or even openly celebrated. Think about Charlie Kirk and what dude Luigi Mangione did. These leftists, they celebrate this. These people are heroes to them. They're glad when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. They mad when bullets miss Trump. Now, assassination and other acts of political violence, they're no longer regarded solely as unconscionable crimes, by people on the left, if they ever were, that's what I'm saying. The Democratic Party has accommodated these far leftists, and now these things are not unconscionable crimes, the political assassinations, but rather they're, like I said, they're portrayed as understandable or worse, virtuous, when they're directed at those deemed sufficiently objectionable, of course. This isn't any longer a matter of like ordinary political disagreement. We're not in that type of culture anymore. There's not just, like I said, in other places, it's not just, disagreeing over taxes or regulation, but it reflects a worldview now. I'm talking about the left. The Democrat Party, what they're hosting. Now, leftism is worldwide, but in the United States, it manifests in the Democratic Party. All right? It's no longer a matter of ordinary political disagreement, like I said. Now it's a worldview in which certain people, they're judged to have just forfeited their right to even exist because they stand in the way of an ideological vision, or because it's become virtuous to hate the right. All right. Now, political movement, they shouldn't think that they're excused by, let me say it like this. When you're looking at a political movement, such as like the so-called progressives or the left or this, they should be ultimately judged by, not only by the rhetoric that they employ, but by the moral culture that it cultivates, and also the conduct that it rewards, and the boundaries that it refuses to defend. Now, back to what I started with. When human life becomes contingent upon ideological approval, then the result is not progress, but instead it's a profound degradation of the very principles that make a free and civilized society even possible. So I don't know. The people on the left, people that are leftists, like what are you really supporting? Think about your causes. Think about what you oppose. What are you really standing for and against? I'm out.